The Houston Astros going to Oakland, and they win the series 2-3. Kyle Tucker does something faster than any other Astro in club history. Justin Verlander climbed up the all-time charts. There's a lot to talk about as the Astros inch closer and closer to the first place Seattle Mariners. Let's talk about this and so much more. Someone's returning. He's back.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you for listening to us, and go to subscribe to us. Go to make this your first listen and become an everydayer. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Brett, when you're not watching the Astros go ahead and take care of business versus A's, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Facebook and on X. They can also find me at Back to the Bullpen on X and on Instagram. Look, I'm always positive, always Stros. I would have liked a series sweep against the A's to make it a clean slate, but I'll take 2-3. I know every once in a while a pitcher can get one over on you, and this offense can be a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of proposition. But what a good game. What a way to end the series. But what's interesting about this going into Seattle is there's so many storylines. There are pitchers that are expected to come back, but they're delayed. There are movements of someone coming back and someone being sent down that we thought would have staying power. I mean, guys climbing all-time charts. There's a lot going on this year. I mean, we got 32 minutes tonight, and we got we could probably spend 30 minutes on almost all these topics that we have.
I know the biggest thing that we've been talking about over the past 10 days was Ronel Blanco and how he was suspended for having the legal substance, which is sweat and I can't think of it. The stuff they use for the pitching.
Sweat and rosin, or sweat and
rosin. Yeah, I couldn't think. No, rosin. So it's not illegal to technically have those two separately, but when you mix them together in a glove and shake them together, and it becomes sticky. And so unfortunately, Ronel Blanco missed that for so long. But to his credit, he got his bullpen work in. He was able to go ahead and take care of business before he had to exit the stadium, because the Astros could not start playing baseball until he actually left the stadium, because that's what happens when you're suspended. He made I believe, I don't think he made a minor league appearance, but he did pitch a simulated game for the Astros. So what he did during this time was he didn't sulk. He didn't cry. He didn't say, woe is me. He went in and he said, okay, I've been doing good so far. What can I do to become better? What can I do to limit my walks? What can I do to just become a more efficient pitcher? And what did he do? He didn't have a walk until the 7th inning. This dude missed 10 games, and he pitched into the 7th inning. Joe Espada said he's going to limit him to about 70 to 75 pitches. He ended up pitching about 105 pitches because he was dominating, and he was just he had pinpoint control. He was limiting the pitching early in the pitches early in game, and you can't expect anything more for Ronel Blanco in his first game back.
No, you can't. I mean, Eric, you said it, and to kind of put some details in there: 17 swings and misses, 7 on his slider, 4 on his four-seam fastball, 4 on his curveball, 2 on his changeup. His changeup really was his go-to pitch early on, and I really thought that was going to be something he was going to be using 30-40% of the time. Tonight, he didn't really use it that much. He was dominating. I think with the vengeance is a good way to describe what he did on the mound, but his demeanor tells me that he's the same guy. Because, Eric, he is kind of he's doing the Yordan Alvarez thing, but on the pitching mound. You know, Yordan Alvarez, I know he hasn't been hitting a ton of home runs lately. He hadn't been hitting the best, but we know that his approach to the plate is one battle at a time, one pitch at a time. He never changes what he does. Ronel Blanco has a game plan, trusts the game plan, and he executes it. And he executes it without a ton of emotion. He doesn't let things get him frazzled. And I think Ronel Blanco, Eric, is going to be one of these guys that we're going to look 3 or 4 years down the road. We're going to look back and go, I remember when Ronel Blanco came in his first full season as a major league pitcher, and look what he's doing now. This guy has a potential to have double-digit wins for the next 3 or 4 years. He's 5-0, Eric. He's 5-0, and he's pitching with an efficiency. Yeah, 105 pitches. It is the Oakland A's. But this guy should have had a kind of mediocre restart, right? The mental part, the getting suspended, the kind of the dumb rule, not understanding what was expected, all that stuff. He came back and he is a pro's pro. And that is good. Joe Espada needs to see that. The guys in the clubhouse need to see that.
And he stepped up, and Joe Espada saw the writing on the wall. The rotation has a whole bunch of holes in it, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But he said, like, Ronel Blanco, I know you're just your first start in 10 days, but if you can go out there and pitch, go out there and pitch. We'll go ahead and ride you as long as we can, because this guy, when he's on, and he's been struggling with walks all year long. And so the fact that he's able to cut that out until the 7th inning in this game, and to his credit, Joe Espada, even as he was way past the pitching mark that he set, he issued a leadoff walk in the 7th inning. To his credit, Joe Espada let Ronel Blanco get out of it. And so that you have to know when to take somebody out and when you can let them go ahead and fix their own mess. With Spencer Urquidy maybe going into 7th inning, that may not be the smart move. But somebody like Ronel Blanco, who showed that he is a emerging ace, I think that was a good choice.
Yeah, look, I mean, you can't say enough about this guy coming out of the spring training, coming out of what we saw his potential to now. Eric, I know we have Justin Verlander. I know he's top 10 all time. But if we're going to talk about ace status, I'm going to talk about Blanco before I talk about Valdez right now. I mean, Valdez is, to me, too up and down. You don't really know. I mean, he hasn't had a horrible year, but Blanco just has he's pitched, he's shoved. And like you said, he's been more efficient. He's eliminated the walks. He took time. And that's the thing. Because like I said, I've been talking to this guy all off season, and he is all about the work. He's all about the focus, and he's all about what can I do to get better each time. And so watching the mental grind, getting to know him a little bit, just off the field, and just watching the production after he put all the work in. That's when we talk about when we're coaching kids, like, trust the process, right? It sounds like a cliche, but that is what it's about. And that's where maybe someone like Valdez needs to get back to. Fromber has got to quit trying to force things to happen. And I think that's where Fromber gets in trouble. He is such a passionate, driven guy that when it doesn't go right, it almost crushes him. And I feel that energy, because that's how I do things. You know, I don't like failing at anything I do. Right. I don't know that if I made it to the majors, I would be more like a Fromber Valdez than a Ronel Blanco, because I know my tendencies.
I think most of us would be, because we've all played golf. We've all played gone bowling. It's like we're good, but then it just becomes a mental game. And that's something like people like Justin Verlander, we'll talk about him in a second. That's why he has become the pitcher that he is, because he can do something that a lot of pitchers can't. Kyle Tucker, he's doing something that a lot of hitters aren't this year as well. So we'll talk about that in a second.
This episode is brought to you by Game Time, my favorite ticket app, my go-to place when I need Astros tickets. That's right. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. It's an app. It's easy to use. Look, you get to see where you're sitting. You get to see how much it is with all-in-one pricing. There's no hidden fees. They don't flip a switch and add stuff when you go to checkout. You know what exactly it is you're paying for, what you're getting. Also, if you find your tickets like the same section, the same row from another company, they'll give you 110% the difference. It is the best ticket app. And it's not just baseball. It's football, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. They have event cancellation protection. They are here for you, the fan. Game time tickets. It is the best place to go. I would definitely say this: lowest prices, best seats, guaranteed.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. Go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros postcast. And you can go and watch both shows on your Amazon Fire TV stick. That's right. Just go and search the free channels app, and you can watch us in your big 70-inch TV if you want, and you can see our beautiful faces up there, our handsome faces, however you want to say it. But guys, thank you for helping us get to where we are, and go and tell a friend, and go and tell them to subscribe to us and help us get to 20,000 subscribers. But I know that Kyle Tucker, I've been saying for the past year or so, I don't think we've seen the best of Kyle Tucker. Right. And I think what we're seeing right now is we are seeing the best of Kyle Tucker. And he actually set a mark, like they're talking about it throughout the whole game. And typically when they talk about milestones like this, it actually happens. Like Lance Berkman and Jeff Bagwell both reached 18 home runs in 54 games at one point in their career. And I'm like, you know what? I love those two guys, but wouldn't it be awesome if Kyle Tucker does it today in this game? And he did it. And so in 53 games, Kyle Tucker is the only Astros. He's the fastest Astro in history to hit 18 home runs. And he's currently your home run leader in not just American League, not just in the Astros, but in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Eric, this guy, his bat is finding the ball. He's keeping his hands in. You know, he has this odd left-handed long swing, but man, he finds that baseball. He makes those adjustments, and his home runs are no doubters. Kyle Tucker is, he's on pace to do a whole lot of things, Eric. And I know you put this in the comments, but I wanted to, in our notes, I wanted to show the people. Kyle Tucker's on pace to finish the season with 115 runs, 115 RBI, 34 doubles, 53 home runs, 162 hits, 128 walks, 28 steals, and 28 attempts. Now, let me say something about this. Kyle Tucker has half as many walks right now that he had last year. Last year, I think he had like 42, 43 walks. This year already has like 24. Kyle Tucker has a chance to get his all-time best on walks on the season, and that's huge because when a guy gets on base, you have the opportunity to score. Now, I will say this with that. We left 22 guys on base today. We left a lot of runners on base, and David, kudos to him. David typically is negative, but David did say, we got to quit scoring just in one inning, and we've got to quit leading guys on base. And Eric, tell me, how many men were left on base by Mr. Diaz? Because we were counting on him to have a big year. He what did he do twice this game?
He stranded the bases loaded. One time it was with one out and he ground into double play. The other time, I believe he struck out. But he stranded 7 runners total in this game. He did get a sacrifice fly, and so he was credited with 1 run, 1 RBI. But yes, he had 7. He stranded 7 runs, not necessarily in scoring position. Of course, the runner at first is not in scoring position, but still, I'm going to count those just to make it seem like a lot. But
So let me correct. We left 22 on base for the series, not for the game. For the series, we left 7 on base on Friday night. We left 9 today, and so do the math. The difference was Saturday. It was not 22 left on base. The left on base Yeah, 5 left on base on Saturday when we lost 3-1. So 22 as a series. But if we score half of those guys, I mean, we're beating them by double digits. Sorry, I just wanted to correct that because someone said something about that.
Well, the Astros were 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position today. So once again, that's batting 400. So
True.
I know we look at those bad numbers, but a good team, if you're batting 300 with runners in scoring position, you're a good team. So they batted 400 today, so that's why they won. And so you just have to have more games like this where you do good. If you look at the game they lost, and I was just doing that a second ago, they were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and that's why they lost. So it's a product of, do you want to win or do you want to just leave a lot of runners on base? It's the clutch hits, and sometimes the Astros are still leading the league in number of hits and batting average, but it's just the clutch hits, just getting it when you really need it. And I don't know if it's still the roster, the lineup construction. I see all the comments about Alex Bregman still batting 4th, and he's struggling a little bit. He did have 2 hits in today's game, but he did strike out with the bases loaded today. So.
Well, he went 2 for 4. He got a double. He actually, I believe he scored a run or got an RBI. And so, look, as long as Alex Bregman is produced, I'm sitting here trying to look up his exact line. 2 for 4. Okay, he had 1 walk and he did not score a run or have an RBI. That's fine. But he was one of 3 Astros that had multi-hit games. Pena, again, 2 for 5. That guy had his 22nd multi-hit game of the year. He leads, I think he leads the league. I know he leads the American League. And look, man, we need to look. We've got to go into Seattle. And I think in our last segment, you and I need to really talk about this a little bit. I just have a hard time believing that we're bringing back Abreu against the best pitching staff. Major League Baseball.
Not just the best pitching staff, the best right-handed pitching staff, which Brady struggles against. So we'll have to talk about that in a little bit. But Justin Verlander, this dude is amazing. He's still going, and he had a good game the other day. 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs. One of them earned, 0 walks, 9 strikeouts, 99 pitches, and then 72 were strikes. Not just that, but he struck out Abraham Toro. Where the F is Toro? He struck out Abraham Toro for his 3,372nd career strikeout, passing the great Greg Maddux in terms of strikeouts. So he is now 10th all time in terms of strikeouts. And so that's a big deal that he's already was a Hall of Famer. He's probably one of the he's a dying breed in terms of possible 300 game winners, because you have specialization nowadays where you have pitchers that go 6 innings and you don't have the 8 inning, 9 inning pitchers like we had back in Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott days. So you're going to not see as many of those type pitchers like you see with Justin Verlander. But what this dude is doing is just amazing. And he struck out Abraham Toro on 93 miles per hour fastball. And so not only is Toro going to go into the history book for catching the last, for hitting a home run for his no-hitter, catching the final out of that no-hitter, but also this.
Also what?
Today's game. I mean, or the strikeout.
Oh, sorry. When you said also this, the way you paused it back up, I literally thought you were going to hit the video. I thought you were going to show something. I'm sorry. I completely misread your body language on the video. So, Eric, another cool thing, okay, before we get to our next segment. If you know this, and you may have seen my tweet, but 5 of the top 10 all-time strikeout leaders all played for the Houston Astros at one point in their career. Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Don Sutton, now Justin Verlander. No other team can claim that. That's quite insane. For a lot of the crap that the Astros get for not being a historical team, they're not baseball. They
or
just
bang.
Yeah, or whatever. We sure got a whole lot of pedigree here in H-Town. I still to this day wish Randy Johnson would have signed with the Astros, and not gone to Arizona. But anyways.
I think we all do. So in a second, we'll go ahead and talk about how the rotation in Seattle is tough to see. And I'm talking about both rotations. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And unfortunately, somebody has to go down for Jose Abreu, and it was who he said was going to go down. And we'll talk about that in a second.
This episode is brought to you by Supply House. Go to supplyhouse.com for all your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical product needs. Get supplies from this site and is made for skilled tradesmen. That's right. You have a reliable way now to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products. Their easy-to-use website is packed full of helpful resources. Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every single time. Their easy-to-use website is packed full of these resources and the latest products to help you get the job done right. Pros in these skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from the free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen, and we need your help. We need you to go and subscribe today. Just hit that little red button down there that says subscribe. Give us a big fat thumbs up while you're doing it. And if you're on the road, let's say you're going out of town, it's summertime, your kids may be out, go ahead and listen to all the Astros games as you're away on Sirius XM, and don't miss any of the play-by-play action. So just download the app and search Astros. But go ahead, make sure you subscribe to us. We're trying to get to 20,000 before the end of the season. So Brett, I know that the Astros, I heard this and I couldn't believe it before we get to the rotation. The Astros have the best run differential in the American League West.
That's right.
And that is amazing. That's like weird to hear, but after today's game, they have a -4 run differential. The Mariners have a -7. The Rangers have a -6. The A's have a -63, and the Angels are already all the way at the bottom have a -36. So it's like everybody in the American League West are like, here, you can go and win. No, you win. You win. No, I insist, you win. So everybody's just giving everybody opportunities. When the Astros, if you give them enough opportunities, they're going to seize the moment.
So where the Astros are hitting and not scoring runs, their pitching at times has held things together. But they are giving up big innings. They are giving up a lot of first inning. Some of the most runs of any team, giving up a ton of runs in the first inning.
They're also scoring a lot in first too.
Right. But we're definitely being outscored, though, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And so through this season, that trend for us has been the opposite for Seattle, where Seattle's offense has really been kind of suspect. I mean, Julio Rodriguez is not having a great year at all. I know against us, they won 2 of 3. They beat us 5-0 in the one game that Logan Gilbert threw. But we're absolutely going to see for basically any pitcher they have as their best pitcher, because they're the number one staff in the major leagues right now. So what I think gives the Astros hope going into this series is if the offense can actually get off the ground. And if the offense can get off the ground and even score 4 or 5 runs and the pitchers can hold the line, then I think we can do it. If we can exploit the fact that the Mariners have been terribly inconsistent and we actually don't play bad in Seattle. We actually have quite a bit of success. We have playoff wins. We have years where we just hit the cover off the ball. I would love to get Maldonado back for one series in Seattle because he loves to hit home runs in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so this 4-game series, Eric, will tell us a lot about where this team is. This series will let us know what the temperature of this team is. And from what Blummer, from what Joe Espada, from what everybody's saying, they are very aware of the importance of this 4-game series in Seattle.
Yeah, you have to be. I know that Dusty Baker would say, well, it's too early to scoreboard watch, but you got to, when you're playing the team that's in America League ahead of you in first place in League West, you got to seize the moment. You got to win some games, and you want to throw out your best pitchers out there. And Framber Valdez is going to start the first game. Outside of that, we don't know who's going to get the ball. It could be Hunter Brown. It was going to be potentially Cristian Javier and then Jose Urquidy, but Jose Urquidy left his last start in the minor leagues with a shoulder injury. He's getting tested.
It's forearm.
Okay.
Yeah,
forearm tightness. So he might be out for a little bit longer. And then Cristian Javier was slated to throw a bullpen session in Sunday, but he did not do so. And so he's likely to be ruled out for his start as well until they're going to see how he's feeling as well.
So this is what Chandler Rome said. Matt Kawahara for the Chronicle now talked about how Javier didn't throw his bullpen. For those of y'all listening, Chandler Rome retweeted that and said, Javier's scheduled turn in the rotation is Tuesday. The Astros listed their entire rotation for the Mariners series as TBA. Hunter Brown could be pushed up to start Tuesday on regular rest. Houston would still need a starter for Wednesday. Eric Lauer, maybe. And this is from Chandler Rome, the Astros beat writer for The Athletic. So that Eric Lauer signing may have been something that they're like, hey, got some insurance here. This guy, he's got the ability to start, and they don't have to lean on him for a full 6 innings. Look, if they have him going on Wednesday or Thursday, they can save their bullpen by the first couple starters going 6-7 innings. Hunter Brown absolutely has to go out and shove. Hunter Brown has to go get some inspiration from like Ronel Blanco, because someone said earlier, Hunter Brown gets pretty frazzled. Hunter Brown's such a competitor, he's almost too intense. And that's why Framber went off the game plan. He got too intense, started throwing 98 miles an hour. His ball flattened out and he got rocked, right? And that whole game changed in 8 pitches. And so that's what the Astros have got to avoid. The big innings, giving up those, because their pitchers are going to absolutely be dealing. And there's no guarantee when we get to their bullpen, because the Mariners have a good team. But remember, they're only 2 or 3 games above 500. So they're not exactly beating the brakes off everybody. We've scored more runs than they have, actually.
Yeah, so I do want to kind of talk about who's some potential options. You mentioned Lauer. He pitched 2 innings on Friday. You would have to clear a roster spot for him. So he's not ready to go 5 innings. So he would be basically an opener. He maybe can go 2 to 3 innings or so. So he's not stretched out. There are some regular starters. You have Tamares. He's got 6.70 ERA. He last pitched on May 21st. Gusto has a 7.93 ERA. He pitched on Saturday. Blair Henley pitched today. He actually had 6 innings, pitched really good, but he has a 5.54 ERA. And AJ Blueball has a 3.16 ERA. And he pitched on May 22nd.
Yeah, so, I don't think AJ is an option, because he just got up to AAA. There's no way they're going to rush him up to the big club. It's not that kind of case. But Blue Ball, this kid can pitch, Eric. He has made a rise. He deserves to be in AAA. But he's what we thought Arrighetti was going to be, and they were going to. I thought they were going to slower walk Arrighetti into the rotation, which they haven't had that luxury. But I don't think we go into AJ territory just yet. I really think we won't see him until next year. But those are all the names that are possible, and that's why we have to mention them. What's up? What do you
guess who's back? Back again.
Oh, Jose Abreu
is back again. And unfortunately, Joey Loperfido is the one that's being sent down to AAA, according to Ari Alexander. The move has not been made official, but this is the smart move for the Astros. I know a lot of people are like, well, why are you going to do that? I know you've even made the comment, well, if you brought him up to start or to play, then why send him down? Because there's no place for him to play right now. You want him to actually play. And so this is an opportunity for him to go down AAA to go and keep developing his swing. He's shown that he can hit for some average. Now go back and redevelop that power swing. Even though he crushed that one ball, maybe learn how to play some first base, because the Astros have not really given him an option to play first base. But Jose Abreu, I don't think he's coming up, guys, to be the everyday starter. I know that John Singleton has been very productive. He has not been an all-star, but he has come up and done something that Jose Abreu has not proven so far. They said that he feels a lot more confident. He feels like his bat speed is ready, and he felt like he needed this. He's not used to struggling like this, but at the same time, he struggled in his AAA. I believe he was 0 for 7 or 0 for 8. He did have one hard hit ball, 100 miles per hour off the bat, but don't expect a lot. He may still start in his first game, but I still think that John Singleton is going to get the majority of the starts.
Yeah, we have actually covered this quite extensively where Dana Brown says, if you don't perform, you're not going to play. So here are a couple quotes on Jose Abreu. And one thing I've got to make note of, Jose Abreu only went to the Florida Complex League because he agreed. When Jose Abreu says he's ready to come up, they have to bring him up. That's because of where he is in his. So he has the luxury of telling the team what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. And if he's like, I don't want to stay in AAA another game, they're like, okay, you're coming up. So he says, what I can tell you is my head. This is Jose Abreu, his first quotes to the public. And this was with an interview with Chandler Rome. What I can tell you is that my head is in a good spot right now. When I say I was going through it, when your head is not in a good spot, you feel like everything is going down. There was a point, and I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, I couldn't even know how to hit, how to field. I was lost. I am humble enough to recognize that, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to be the best Jose Abreu I can be, and the one you guys know. The thing about Jose Abreu, he said, I was wrong. The most important thing is acknowledging that, be humble, and be where my feet are and get back to where it needs to be. When he was talking about what was a problem with his hitting, what is it, his timing, was it this, was it that? And so you have a guy that takes on the burden of having to tell everybody, you know what? I kind of suck right now. I mean, I suck really. I'm so bad that I don't even know how to hit a baseball.
Right.
That takes a lot. And for a team that has struggled to score runs offensively, that's an absolute backbreaker. And so with Singleton earning the spot, Singleton's going to honor him as a veteran, but Singleton very much is like, yeah, this is my place. And I think there's going to be a mutual respect because of Singleton's road that he's been on. Now, Jose Abreu struggles. Eric, these two may actually meld and work together as teammates better than what a lot of people think. I think you see more of the fan side of it being more petty. And of course, I can kind of be petty. I'm like, give him to the end of June and he's done. Like, I don't see this guy coming back just from what I've seen, but I also would never say never. And this guy, of all people, because you're paying him what you're paying him, dang it, he does deserve a second chance, whether you like it or not.
So what Brett is saying is that these two will form the Voltron and Mega. I forgot what the guy's called.
So which one? Right? Yeah, dude, that they need to bring those things back, man. Like Voltron, Optimus Prime, like the good.
Well, the original Transformers, not the new stuff they have. That's crappy,
no, the Beast and yeah, that's weird, man. Yeah. Anyway.
So I think that this series is going to be a big test for the Houston Astros, and how they do against the Mariners pitching is going to be very telling, because the Mariners pitching is good. Their offense is not very good. The Astros offense is good. The pitching could not be very good, especially if Framber Valdez has another bad case of the yips or whatever he gets. So Brett, anything else before we close the show?
No, man, I think it's going to be an exciting series. Look, remember, 8:40 start, so boys and girls will be up late. So should you. I'm out for the summer, so I can sleep in the next day, but we'd love for you to join us. And we will have one of the Astros minor leaguers on this week. We're going to record that and put that up this week. So be looking for that and look for some guest hosts coming up here in the near future. So thanks for tuning in to Locked On Astros with Eric and Brett. We are your team every day. Don't go anywhere else for your Astros information because we got you covered.
All right. See you tomorrow. Go Astros.
A little different vibe on the end. You like it?